Hello and welcome back to Red Panda of Destiny, where we are still covering Sabaton's The Great War. Today, we're covering 82nd, all the way. Three little clips to play here. First positive is this weird little synth intro that the song starts with. Depressingly short as it is, it gets a positive, and that positive gets taken away because they cut it off. What? Excellent use of the synth. I believe it's still somewhere behind the rest of the song, but you can never hear it as clearly as you can there, I don't think. But it's just a cool little thing there. I know there's a huge debate over synths in metal, but personally, I like synthesizers. Then again, I'm a big fan of early synth pop, so I don't know. Then, of course, we have the sing-along, much like Seven Pillars of Wisdom.
Away into the fires from hell, they are gone, not hero to be. Capture the wall from over the sea to be 1918, all the way from Tennessee.
Oh, yes. That actually leads me straight into my next positive, which is the patriotism. Now, when I say patriotism, I do not mean to their own country. Sabaton are Swedish. They're definitely not from Tennessee. But this is something they have done several times, like making a song which makes you very proud of wherever it is. Even if you're not from there, you're like, oh, I wish I lived there so we could. This is that song for Tennessee. It's like, whoa. There is also a song that references Texas. Interesting that they chose to only reference the two states that start with a T, but whatever. And there's a couple Polish ones, actually. The main one for me being 40-1, which is, it's like that. It's just like, well, I could have one of those. Blood of Bannockburn about Scotland. We'll, of course, probably do episodes on these in the future if those albums get picked, but definitely give a positive for that. Just inventing patriotism is very nice. And we also have the solo, which is not quite as good as the other ones, but still excellent. Oh, yes. It's weird. I actually never thought about the solos much before I started doing these reviews, but I really like them. Let's see if we got any other positives. I actually gave a positive here just for the story of Alvin York, which I think is told very well. I guess that's kind of a lyrical plus, but it's like a bonus lyrical plus, I suppose. But of course, that brings us on to the lyrics themselves. There's a lot of great lyrics in here. I guess the beginning is the best. I mean, in the draft of 1917, a man from Tennessee, overseas to the trenches he went from the land of the free. That's probably my favorite line of the song. From the land of the free. It's just like, into war he brought two things along, a rifle and his faith. Joined the ranks as a private, assigned to 338th. I can't remember how that's pronounced in the song, but that again leads into the pronouncing weird things into a song. But definitely a real killer track. Of course, if you watch the Sabaton history episode, you'll learn all about the story of Alvin York, which is quite an inspiring one, really. I'm just checking here. We do not have any positives for history or soundtrack beyond the existing ones, the fact that they exist. Though we will now have a little bonus section on the Amaranth, I think that's how you pronounce it, cover. Okay, the 82nd All the Way cover by Amaranth, a fellow Nuclear Blast artist. Sure, this was some marketing ploy. This cover came out a year later, in 2020, which is the year we're recording this, of course. And I was going to do little samples for this one, but actually, what I'm going to do is slowly play through the first 50 seconds of the song because it explains everything for you. So our first positive is a bit synth that they use, which is always fun. And then that kind of segues into sort of almost an industrial guitar riff, which sounds really cool.
Ready? Aim. Okay, York. You're on your own.
And then, of course, we segue into the vocals. There's actually 3 vocal styles. I don't know if it's actually 3 vocalists or 2 vocalists, but I like 2 of them. I don't like one of them. The one I don't like is the first one. He sounds a bit weird. But I like the girl, and I like whoever's doing the growling. I think it was kind of cool that they put in the growling and they put in everything. But yeah, I mean, it cycles through them all pretty quickly. So here we go.
In the draft of 1917, a man from Tennessee. Overseas to the trenches he went, from the land of the free.
Into war he brought 2 things along, a rifle and his faith. Joined the ranks as a private assigned to 338.
On the day, Alvin York entered the fray, saving the day. 82nd on the way.
I do like how they brought them together in that last bit. But that was definitely skirting fair use. But I think it was all necessary. Just simplifies things to skip. But although these positives and negatives do not affect the Sabaton ratings at all, we have positives for the video. They did a video. Positives for the industrialness, the spit synth, 2 positives for vocals, and a negative for the bad vocals. So that's a aggregate of 4. But now we can move on to Sabaton's videos. So we'll be starting with lyric video number 1, because there were 2, and my fingers are not in shot. 2. Oh, it's over here. Okay. So, lyric video number 1. This one is kind of cool. It's like a little cartoony thing. So I give it a positive for that. But I take away 1 for it being kind of empty. It's just the lyrics and some cartoony Sabaton figures, which is actually pretty cool. Lyric video number 2. Only really 1 extra positive here, which is a quote from one of Alvin York's superiors. "Well, York, I hear you've captured the entire German army." "No, sir. Only 132. Oh, it's a great quote. And it's true. It's true. So, the Sabaton history episode, actually quite interesting. Covers a lot of the interesting stuff behind Alvin York, who actually didn't want to go to war. He objected to the draft on the basis of his religion, but still got drafted, as was the case for most people, I assume. And he got put in the 82nd Division, which was full of sort of the misfits that the Army didn't really know what to do with. But also, interestingly, the song actually takes place concurrently with one of my favorite Sabaton songs, The Lost Battalion, which was on Last Stand, I believe, from 2017, I believe. And it's a really interesting story. I mean, I already read that quote, which was just shows you how badass, I guess I want to say, Alvin York was. But watch the episode and you'll get way more detail than I can give you here. And there was also a little tidbit from Joachim that they'd written an upbeat song, but they were struggling to think of anything from World War I that they could use. So they had to really search around for something very heroic, and this is what they found. It's funny. It really would suit the Heroes album they did in 2014, which was all about random individual heroes from different wars. And then I gave a random positive on the comedy grounds for a possible Borat joke, which I'll let you try and spot for yourself. Quick little addition again. Giving a positive to the little live track they released. This one happened to be recorded in Munich, which means they did the Hochheim beer thing they do. I can't remember what song that's from, but it's, I guess, a tradition when they go to Germany. The Germans are very big on drinking at concerts, which is actually probably why they're the key country in power metal, because they love a good sing-along. And I think we can thank the Germans for that one.